Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Lena. Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk about my favorite self-published books of all time. I've recently took a picture of all the self-published books that I own, like physically, like the book, not on Kindle. And I was just like, okay, it's time to do another one of these videos. So this is my new, like, updated list of favorites. I will do a next video on where to start reading self-published and the best books to start with. This one is just all about my favorites. So they are kind of in an order, like mostly like the top 5, top 3, like they are definitely in order, but let's just start with this one, okay? So I'm going to mention this one, even though I haven't like give these books 5 stars fully. If they stick with me and I think about them like most of the time, they become favorites. And that's what happened with An Altar on the Village Green by Nathan Hall. Dude, I really liked this book when I read it. But the thing is, it just scratched every single itch that I had. I only had like a minor problem with it. The flashbacks I wasn't really into, but the rest is so good. This is heavily inspired by Dark Souls, so if you like the games and Elden Ring, you're going to love this, honestly. Like Sekiro, Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, FromSoft games, love this. But in this one, you're basically going to follow this paladin and he gets blessed with this god and he's out there to kill horrors. So he gets stuck in this village where he has to find like the main horror and destroy it, and he is in this kind of death loop constantly. Every time he dies, he's just back at the start and everyone is just like resurrected. So that mechanic was so cool. But yeah, I actually really like this book. I'm 100% on board with it. So this is interesting because I'm not going to talk about any particular book, but I'm going to talk about an author who I think probably my... Could I say that he's my favorite self-published author? I will say dark fantasy author. Yeah, dark fantasy author. Because even though I haven't given these books 5 stars, I will read anything by Michael R Fletcher. Honestly, these are just 2 of his series, but I have also read... Oh, Mirror Search is just the second one. What's the name of the first one? Well, this one. I have also read this one. I've been loving his books. Honestly, they are so good. Perfect type of dark fantasy. If you're into that, you're going to love any of these. Probably my favorite is still Blackstone Heart, like this series, but man, so good. I really want to try his sci-fi series. It was a contestant for SPFFC this year, but I didn't get the chance to read them, sadly. Michael R Fletcher, just anything, like he's so good. Then the most underrated series I've ever read, I've heard literally no one talk about this, even though it was a contestant for SPFBO several years ago. I think Kitty G read it for her batch and she didn't really vibe with it, but still, I love it so much. This is Wolfgang by F.D. Cross, and the thing is, I do think this first book is super weak, but the next book, Inquisition, is so fucking good. Like, so fucking good. This is basically about following a vampire hunter. One day these noble vampires come in, slaughter his family, kidnap his son, and he's after them. Sounds like so easy. There's so much going on. There's even a point in this series where you have like a cathedral made of flesh and blood. So good. This is what comes to mind when I think about dark fantasy, horror fantasy. This series, like, is so well done without just crossing that line where you're just like, okay, no, so good, dude. So good. The second book is fucking amazing. It's also the longest one, but it's just so cool. Just love it so much. It reminded me a lot. It gave me like the same feeling as Kimetsu no Yaiba. Like, actually, Kimetsu no Yaiba gives me the same feeling as this. But, dude, so good. So fucking good. I cannot recommend this one enough, honestly. Then, we're going with some recent reads, honestly. This is Winsor Strife by Judy Goodman. Loved this book when I read it a couple of months ago. Like, It's so good. I had forgot that it was dark fantasy, and the author reminded me that, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll read it. I listened to the audiobook. I think the audiobook is fantastic. So if you're planning on reading it or listening to it, I will recommend that you listen to it, and you won't get lost. Like, it's super easy to follow. So highly recommend that you just listen to it. But in this one, you're going to follow Witch Hunter Nye. The thing is, he's actually one of the good guys. Sort of. He joined the Witch Hunter Corps. I have an English question right now. How do you differentiate between corpse and corpse? How? But he joined because his family was actually slain by these witch hunters, so he's trying to take them down from the inside. Super good. You also have other POVs, but I just won't spoil them. Nai is such a great character. Like, I love that about him. You're just like, yeah, he's doing the right thing, but he is also really not doing great things. So it's hard, but it's super good. I have a review for this book. I will link it up here, and also for this next one, which is Dark Apprentice by Val Neal. Like, I read both of those at the same time, and I love both of those. So I did like a review for both of them, so check that out. But oh man, I love this book. You're going to follow Nikolai and Medea. Nikolai wants to become Medea's apprentice, a dark apprentice, so he can learn dark magic. And Medea takes him in, but the thing is, Nikolai is actually actively trying to kill Medea, but Medea is actually immortal, and her life has been attempted so many times that she's just like, sure, if he tries to kill me, if here's another one that tries to kill me, I will just have to put him down. Their dynamic is so cool yet sad at the same time, like so many conflicting feelings all the time. I just love this story. Like, it's just so cool. I cannot wait for book 2, honestly. Like, I'm so into this one. The same with Winds of Strife. Like, I want book 2. I just want book 2 of these 2 books. Then a favorite from last year. This is Dreams of the Dying by Nicholas Litzo. And honestly, I also been dying for book 2. It was delayed a bit, so probably this year or next year, most likely. Super sad about it, but it's being translated. It's also getting an audiobook, so super cool. But yeah, in this one you're going to follow Jasper Dalbarek, and he is a mercenary basically, and he is asked to go to this island empire and help this great merchant who has gone like into a coma, and he's not able to wake up. So there's a lot of drink magic in here, which I fucking love. The subconscious and exploring that, I love. There's also a lot of more like political themes discussed in here, which I actually really liked. But yeah, this book is amazing. I also did a dedicated review for it. I will link it here too. But dude, Dreams of the Dying is amazing. Also, probably the highest quality self-published book I've ever owned. Honestly, like, well, I'm about to receive like a collector's edition of the Cradle series, but still, like, it's so cool. Also, these last pages are like a glossary. I don't know. For not being like a special edition, it's such a good quality, honestly. Okay, getting into the interesting parts. Like, these are well known in this channel, so you won't be surprised. But Pawn's Gambit by Rob J. Hayes. I love this entry in the Mortal Tongue mix. Like, it made me even tear up a bit. That ending was one of the hardest things in a light-hearted novel that I've ever read. Like, what the fuck. But yeah, I really like this one. So in this one, you're going to basically follow a competition between the gods, and you know, if the hero of that god collects like the most relics, then they have a chance to defeat the current god of the current king of the gods, basically, so they can start like a new era. It's super cool. You're going to follow mostly Yu. She lost her prince. She advised this prince and she lost him basically in a battle. She's been very miserable since then, until this god comes in and she's just like, okay, you have to come back to your old self, girl. I love this one, literally. It's just so good. It's just so good. I bought the entire collection of audiobooks just for this one, honestly. Like, the other 2 are fucking great too. Like, Never Die and Spirits of Vengeance are fantastic, but not as good as Pawn's Gambit in my opinion. Like, this one just has everything. everything. I just love it so much. Then of course, like obviously, like I've been reading the Cradle by Will White since last year. Like I'm already up to date. I just cannot wait for Dread God. But dude, this series is so good. If you just like fantasy in general, literary RPGs, you're going to love this. Like, you're going to follow Lyndon, and the thing is, he is branded an unsold by his clan, meaning that he cannot practice the magic of his clan. So he is very resourceful, and it's just like, you know what? I will find a way. It's just so cool. Like, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger with each entry. Like, the last, I don't know, 5 books are just insane. Like, insane. Though I have to say my favorite one, is it though? I will say that it's still Black Flame, but the last ones are just so good. Reaper and Bloodline are so good that I'm not sure. But still, I love this series. It just gives you like that warm feeling. It's amazing. Lena is such a cute, like a cute and cool in character. I just cannot. You also meet like so many cool characters along the way. Ethan, for example, which is now one of my favorite characters of all time. So good, man. So good. The first 2 are fucking obvious, but we're still going to go through this, okay? I'm going to cry already. This is The Sword of Kaigen by Emma. If you have not read this book, I don't know what the fuck you're waiting for, because it's one of the best books I've read, not only self-published, but in general. Like, these first 2 are, and also The Cradle, are some of my favorite books of all time. Like, do not care if they are trad or self-pub, just like, so good. So good in so many levels, this book. Like, oh, it's going to fucking punch you right in the face and the feelings every single time. But in this one, you're going to follow the Matsuda family. So you're going to follow the mother and the son of this family. So the mother, Misaki, used to be this great warrior, but now she's just like settling down. She has a very hard time just like dealing with having this new position as a mother and not being able to do anything in this family. And you're also going to follow Mamoru, who is the son. And he is been dealing with this weird feeling since this new student came into the town, and that maybe the empire is been lying to them. So he's just like very confused throughout this book. Whew. Whew. This is just like having flashbacks. Like, this book is amazing. I've read it 3 times already. I actually can't wait to read it a 4th time because it's just so good. I've never read a book with so much emotion on it. Me, that I'm super emotionless. It's just so good. That's it, I'm going to stop. It's just so good. Obviously. This is Sufficiently Advanced Magic by Andrew Rowe. Andrew Rowe is one of my favorite authors now. Like, everything he writes, I'll just eat. Like, I've read every single one of his books. They're all so good. Like, he gets this humor type of fantasy super well. Like, super well. It's just very quirky. It's just so good. But my favorite series by him is The Arcane Ascension, which is currently 3 books. But it's apparently going to be 7. I hope there's more. Like, honestly, just give me more. But I'm really excited for the next book that probably will come out this year. I cannot wait, honestly. But in this one, you're going to follow Corin. In this world, you'll have to go through this thing called a judgment to get your atonement that allows you to practice magic, basically. You have to go to these spires that are put there by their goddess and make it out alive. Basically, and you have your atonement. So Corin is very excited to get his atonement because his brother disappeared in this tower, actually. So he's trying to just move forward and super fast with his magic, with his training, with his time in the army, so he can find Tristan. But so many twists in this book. I also love the fact that Andrew Rowe spends a lot of time explaining the magic system, which is something that I love. Like, I love my world building so much, and this series is kind of like the definition of it. Like, you get explanations for everything, which is something that I profoundly love. We also have a Ace main character, which is super interesting, honestly. Like, they're usually the side characters, but in here, main one, like, Corin is just the fucking best, honestly. Like, he's so cute. He's very reminiscent of Lyndon. The author was very inspired by Will White. But yeah, dude, this series is fucking amazing. Like, It's one of those series that honestly just warms my little heart every single time that I read them. I have already read every single book twice, and I rarely read books, so that's giving you a hint. But yeah, I just love this series so much. Like, it's just great. So yeah, that's basically my updated list for self-published books that I love. What are your favorite self-published books? Just let me know, please, because I'm always looking for more of those. I have like a pretty long TBR of self-published already, but I want more. So just give me more. But as always, let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.